welcome back to Emily A to Z. I'm Emily, and today is another TBR tackle video. And this is going to be a little different than I had planned. So, it is Saturday when I am starting this video. I have made it now about 50, a little over 50%, 60-ish% of the way through The Prestige by Christopher Priest. And I don't even think I said what it was about in my last video. It's like the story of a decades, generations long feud between this magician, something Borden, and Rupert, this other magician, like Rupert Angier. And they've long died, and now we're in the present day. It's like their descendants, and they're trying to figure out why there was this feud and everything like that. I'm about 50% of the way through. I got through the original Borden's like manuscript, and now we're into then like Kate, which is our female like descendant. She had a couple chapters, and now we're in like the journals of Angier. I still am really enjoying it. I like it a lot. So I love this storyline, right, of that we have like one event that happened, or like a couple events that happened, but we're getting told to like, you know, two sides of the same coin, right? Like we're getting told both sides of this event. So we get Borden's perspective of why there's a feud and what was happening, and then we get Angier's perspective of this feud and what was happening and the things that were going on in both of their lives, and like how it culminated the way that it did. Originally, I was going to start this video a different way. I was going to tell you about this, and then I was going to move into a like kind of explanation. I had plans. Things obviously got a little derailed. I was going to attempt a like 24 hours of cross stitch kind of video because I've been getting into stitching again, maybe a little too enthusiastically. I've been playing Letters of Fortune in semi-sane, and I really like the non-counting version. That is the version that I have been playing. It's think Wheel of Fortune, right? You get a phrase, you guess a letter. The normal like version where each letter has an assigned value, you would guess that letter, do the stitches assigned to that value, and then like guess again. In the non-counting version, you can make a guess a day, whether it's a letter or your phrase, and then you just stitch, and like that's it. You're not counting stitches, but you know, pros and cons, right? You don't get to guess multiple times a day. You stitch once a day, and that's it, and then you're done. And you just have to show progress. So I like that. You know, there's like benefits to that of I'm not necessarily going to get, it doesn't matter if I do 600 stitches, I've only get one guess, but that also means I could do 50 stitches, and as long as progress was made, I still get a guess. So, you know, I guess like an E and there's 3 E's, cool, that saves me a crap ton of stitches. I can just do whatever I want. So I'm really, really enjoying that. I've done it every single day. And stitched last night for a while, and then I was like, ooh, my wrist is hurting again. Damn it. So maybe I just kind of overdid it. Work has been busy, has been consistent, and I work with my hands at my job. I do a lot of fine motor skills with my job because of what I do at the library. So my hand is hurting. My husband insisted I put the brace back on, which means I'm kind of out of commission for stitching. So there goes my like 24 hours of cross stitch idea that I was gonna kind of like start filming like today and film throughout this week. That's not happening. So I'm a little bummed, and it definitely limits me on what I like can and can't do. I forgot how frustrating and tedious it is to be like down a thumb, down a hand. I can still use it obviously, but like my movement is restricted, what I can do with it is limited, and I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to push my limits, and I don't want to only do one-handed stuff and then like risk injuring this one. It's complicated and it's annoying. But I will not be stitching, or if I do stitch, it's going to have to go like in a stand And then I'm going to definitely be limited to just one-handed stitching, which is slow for me. I like to stitch two-handed, and this is like my top hand. Can't exactly, when you can't really grip a needle. I mean, I could still hold something with this, but yeah. So there went that. So instead, I'm gonna switch things up. Then I thought, hey, I'm gonna start this. We can still be positive, right? We can still have a great time. And then I started to not feel well. It is that wonderful time of the month. I believe it is upon us. It is coming. If not today, tomorrow, it's coming. I am going to start my period very shortly. I don't feel well. I'm not having bad cramps this time, but I am incredibly nauseous, which sucks because I bought this and I wanted to do a taste test, but now I'm rather nauseous and the last thing I want to do is eat. Like I'll show you, but like, not right now. That makes me sad. So that's going away. Then I'll have to wait till later. And I was like, you know what? Now that I don't feel well, I'm just gonna sit and read. I had to do some chores this morning. I had to run some errands. There's only like 3 dishes in my sink that need to be washed. I think I can handle that. And then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read. So instead of doing a 24 hours of cross stitch, I was like, you know what? We're gonna do a TBR tackle and we're gonna do a 24 hours of reading. I'm going to set my timer for 24 hours, 23 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Okay, that's where we're at. And I'm just gonna see how much I can read in this time. So every time I sit down to read, I will start my timer. And then whether that's physically, whether that's an audiobook, this will be going. And then we'll just see what I can accomplish in 24 hours. Like, I will take breaks to like film, to eat, to sleep. Like, it's not gonna be 24 hours straight because I do have a child and I do have stuff that I have to be a responsible adult for. So there will be pauses, but every time I check in, I'll show you. And we're gonna do a little experiment and just see what we can accomplish. That's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this like 24 hours of cross stitch thing. And because I think throughout a course of a week, I could get a lot done and then it'd make for an interesting like stitchy Sunday. Nope. All right, so let me get situated and we'll see where this takes us. I'll see you in a bit. Had to lay down for a little bit to see if that would help. I still feel awful. I still feel ridiculous. I do not feel well. You might hear Caden. He's playing a video game. Alright, so I'm gonna listen to my audiobook for a little bit. This is The Prestige. And work on this awful puzzle. So here we go. Shall we begin?
Of a widow. She has the children with her. She has her material needs taken care of, and she has never...
Okay, it is the next day. I finished The Prestige. That's at 100%. Finished The Prestige, and we're at like 21 hours left. So about 3 hours passed for me to finish the Prestige. I was listening to it at like 1.7 speed. And I finished my puzzle. Not at the same time. I finished my audiobook and I still had quite a bit of this puzzle left, but it was in some really annoying places where I then had to shape by size, like shape by size. Nope, I had to sort by shape the puzzle pieces and try and figure it out there. I'll show you it because this thing took days. This is an 1,000-piece puzzle. It was this one, Autumn Evening by Terry, like the art is by Terry Redlin and this is like Buffalo is the puzzle brand. Normally I can do like a puzzle a day. Like it might take me a couple days if I really want to like savor it, but like I can do a lot in like several hours. This puzzle took days upon days because it was so finicky. Just here. Just the detail, like these leaves, it's all like the same. So that took forever. This sky was ridiculous. I basically just had to like work off of the fact that it's a gradient. This puzzle was ridiculous. So it took me a while. I listened to my audiobook, finished my audiobook, continued to work on this, and was fed up with it by the time I went to bed last night, and then was like, okay, we're gonna try and finish it this morning. And I did finish the Prestige. I rated it a 3.75. I really, really liked it. I gave it a 4 originally, and then I sat there and was like, is it a 4? Like, I liked it, but did I? See, I just said I really liked it, but did I? Did I really like it? It didn't feel like a 4. It felt like a 3.75, like a 3.5. So that's where we're at. I did enjoy it. It was fine. It was a good little like twist. I think it just got really bogged down by the end of it. The whole like, we got Borden's life, like from his book, 100%, right? And then popped back to the present day and got a couple chapters in the present day while we're solving this current mystery. And then it went back in time, and then we got basically the entire story again, told from Angier's, the other magician's perspective. And we had to listen to the whole story again, plus his growing up. And it just started to feel like, okay, yes, I did like seeing the same, like certain parts of it from both perspectives, but when you're getting the entire novel told back to you for a second time, and that second part was 6 hours of the novel, it just became a bit much. So not a 4, no 5 stars yet in March. That's okay. What are we doing next? Okay, so I finished this puzzle. I kind of want to start another puzzle, but I also have to go clean my desk because husband has promised me a sweet little treat if I clean my desk. And ADHD brain here, that dopamine receptor, right? Like cleaning the desk, absolutely not. You tell me I get a little treat if I clean my desk? Absolutely. So I'm gonna do that, but I still have 21 hours of my challenge. So then I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do next. I need to read The Lamplighters, and then I think I kind of want to read The Dangerous Convenience Store. Again, little palate cleanser. And we'll just go from there. Why not? Maybe I'll put on another like sprints, like reading sprints with Gavin and just hang out with him. And I don't know. We'll see. I'll check in. It's Monday. Monday evening to be exact. This is the new and improved, aka showered Emily. And what is going on? So Sunday I was like, I'm gonna check in, I'm gonna do my chores, and then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna read. That didn't happen. I got sucked into doing a bunch of chores and like cleaning and organizing and like getting stuff like situated. And that's like totally fine. Meaning I did a bunch of chores. I cleaned off my entire desk. So now I actually want to sit at my computer desk again, and I can edit there and work at my desk, and that's great. It had been a hot mess for a long time and I hardly ever sat at my computer. but now I can, and I have been. So then after I did all that and made dinner and we like hung out with food, the boys and I, then I was like, I have more stuff I need to do on the computer. And so then I got sucked onto my computer for like hours and did not read. So then I went to work today and I started a new audiobook. I started In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. It is her memoir of being in a domestic abuse relationship with another woman. So this is like recounting the relationship she had with a female partner who was emotionally and like mentally, psychologically abusive towards her. And the damage that that has done, it explores it through various like tropes, and it is heart-wrenching. It is just, it breaks my heart. And she highlights multiple times that there is not enough discussion or dialogue or literature or stories or help or resources for queer couples and for survivors of domestic abuse of any kind in queer couples, that it's just not a thing. Then like she full on like attacks the trope of like that a lesbian relationship is this like beautiful, perfect utopian thing, because they aren't always. Domestic abuse happens regardless of your race, your sex, your gender, your orientation, your, you know, where you live, what your job is. And yeah, and I think it's even more poignant for me because I didn't realize this. I know exactly where this book takes place. The woman she was seeing was in a program at the University of Indiana, or Indiana University, which is where I went to college, at the same time that she was living in Iowa City, which is not far from where we are. I mean, I know where Iowa City is. And that is crazy to me. Like, I know this. And she mentioned a specific year. And I'm like thinking about like, depending on what time of year this was, I was on that campus. And that like, I understand that like, the chances that I actually saw them or saw her partner or like that our paths crossed at any point is minuscule, right? But it is still possible, and that is mind-boggling to me that I was more than likely on campus at the same time that her partner was also on campus. Completely different degree fields, but I don't know, like that's just wild to me. Absolutely wild. Anyways, it is rather short. The audiobook is only about 5.5 hours. I have listened to most of it already. I will be finishing it today. And I guess that's my plan. I did start at work and I forgot to start my timer at first, but then quickly realized it and like started it. So I don't think I missed too much, but then something happened and I completely lost my timer. But I know I was at like 19 hours and some minutes. I didn't know exactly, but I know it was like lower 19. So I just restarted the timer at 19 hours and 5 minutes, and we're just gonna go from there. If I missed a little, I missed a little. So what? That's where we're at now. So that was weird. And then I went to the gym and I tried to work out, and it was just kind of a crappy workout because I'm not feeling the best. I'm not feeling the hottest, and I was kind of bumming out. I'm not gonna go into the sad sack that I was pre-shower, but I was feeling pretty down on myself. Like I felt weak because I couldn't lift the way I wanted to. Cardio sucked. Like it started to hurt, and that's crazy. Like I just was like, nope, I'm done. And then I had to get Caden, and then we had to get groceries, and we had to do this, and this, right? And it just, I felt gross physically. I felt gross mentally, like different layers of feeling gross. So I jumped in the shower, and I'm feeling so much better. And I am so glad that I did that. So here's the plan for the rest of the day, because it is now almost 7 o'clock, and it's a bit of wait. I'm going to get dinner for Caden and I. We're getting food, and we're going to eat that food, and we're going to hang out. I'm not cooking. I still don't feel like the best. I feel better physically, but I still am like dealing, and I still have some pain and cramping going on with a side of nausea. It's great. I know that I'm hungry. I do need to eat. I do need to fuel my body. So I'm going to take care of my body and I'm going to listen to my body. I'm going to rest. I'm going to hydrate. Speaking of which, drink break. But I'm gonna go get us our Mexican food and we're gonna just hang out. Caden has screens. He can play on his computer or watch TV. I'm going to have my delicious enchiladas and then I'm gonna read because that's what I need to do. I need to take it easy and read. So I will check in after I finish in the dream house and I will give you my final thoughts once I finish this. Okay. Quick before bed update. Finished the audiobook. We are now at 17 hours, 56 minutes left. And I've finished 2 books in this time. So I finished In the Dream House and Still Beautiful and heartbreaking and just a gut-wrenching exploration of abuse that can and does happen in queer relationships. Not rating it. I'm not reading memoirs. Sorry, you hear that in the background. That's the husband doing his teeth. But that's all I wanted to update. It's bedtime. No, it is Wednesday. It is my day off. I have 12 hours left of my 24. How much can I read in 24 hours? And 2 days before I have to wrap up this vlog. I have today and tomorrow, and then that's it. This vlog is over. Let's get to it. But first, I'm in my pajamas still. We should change that. And now we're dressed. Alright, while the coffee is brewing, let's talk about what I read, because when I last checked in, I was not at this time frame. So, what went on yesterday? I went to work and I started Mostly Dead Things, which of course I have upstairs, I didn't bring downstairs. So I started Mostly Dead Things yesterday, and as you just saw, I have made it 73% of the way through, if it focused. So I started it at work, set my timer at work, and listened to it at work, and then was going to go work out at the gym, and then remembered that Caden had a dental procedure yesterday that required us to pick him up from school early and take him to the dentist. And if I had forgotten that and then went to the gym, we would have missed his dentist appointment, because I go right after work and then I have like an alarm set for, hey, go get Caden now, just so that I'm on top of everything. And I was like, I'm gonna go work out, and then I pulled up my phone and it like pops up. I also have it set, because ADHD brain, my lock screen shows our calendar, so that way even if my phone is locked and I take a look, it'll pop up like what appointments we have for the day. And that's really important for someone like me, because I forget things all the time and it sucks. So that showed up and I was like, oh crap, that's right, I have to pick Caden up early. So it's fine. Went home, ate some lunch, picked Caden up from school, and then we went to a dentist appointment. And I just knew. He'd had one the previous week, so everything was fine. They wanted to do just a basic procedure of like putting sealant on his molars just to help prevent cavities and stuff in the future. So like super simple, nothing crazy, nothing invasive or anything like that. But he had to have this procedure done, and the nurse, or not nurse, the dental assistant was like, it'll take 30 minutes tops. I was like, no, it won't. So I brought a book. That appointment took an hour. I just had a feeling. And that's fine. He was fine the entire time. Like, it's not invasive. There's no needles. Like, he watched Cartoon Network the entire time. Like, he was fine. And I read. So, got an hour of the Lamplighters in. And then we came home, did our normal stuff. And then I was like, I've got a lot of hours left and I still need to. So then I sat down and worked on my puzzle over there and listened to another 50%. I left work at like 25%, came home, listened to it while I did my puzzle, and got through another like 50%, which is why I'm now at 73% of this book. So let's talk about the books. What is happening? Coffee's ready. So in the Lamplighters, because I only read for like another hour and a half, I was like mixing it up, right? We came home, made dinner. While we were doing dinner, Caden couldn't eat certain things last night because of the sealant. So like we basically just like made him soup. And my husband already had dinner plans for himself. He had like leftovers, and that's totally fine. And I had leftovers. So we all just kind of did our own thing, which meant I didn't have to cook. So I was like, ooh, I'll do some more reading. Pulled up another reading sprint with Mr. Gavin and was like, I'm gonna read The Lamplighter some more. That didn't really happen. That's okay. I'm enjoying it. It's been a while since I feel like I've talked about it. So it is set in this dual timeline. We are getting what happened in 1972 with these 3 lighthouse keepers and motherfucker. He just fucked up my entire puzzle. Anyways, 1972, we are following the 3 lighthouse keepers in the lighthouse. Bill, Arthur, and Vincent, and they all have different personalities and different secrets and different just stages in life. Arthur is the main. He is like the head lighthouse keeper. Bill is the assistant, and then Vincent is like the newest, and he's the youngest. And so things are going on. And then so we get chapters from their individual perspectives. Then it'll jump to 1992, so 20 years in the future. And then we're getting chapters from the women that were left behind. So we get Arthur's wife, Helen. We get Bill's wife, Jenny. And then we get Vincent's girlfriend at the time, Michelle. And how they are still consumed in a way by what happened. Because in 1972, one day, their relief shows up on the rock to, bring goods, exchange people, and they're all gone. The door is locked, the clocks have been stopped, and there's no trace of what happened, right? Everything's just, they're gone, and they don't know what happened. And so it's never been answered. They don't have, they eventually pinned it on, one of the men because he had a criminal past, and they're like, he probably did something, and that sucks. That's awful. So then in the future, in the present, in 1992, we get perspectives from the women of, how they're dealing. And a writer is digging into this story because he wants to investigate and research and potentially write a book about what happened. And so some of the chapters are just their POV, and then some of the chapters, it's as if they're sitting here talking and we're getting the transcript of their interview. So that's really interesting. And it bounces back and forth between the past and the present, and we're getting this storyline, and it's starting to all come together, which is very interesting. I just got to a part where it's 1973, and it's transcripts of interviews that the Lighthouse Company did with the wives, right after the men went missing. So, because they went missing right before the new year. So the 1973, January 1973, and they're, interviewing the wives to, try and figure out, do you think they were depressed? Do you think that they could have left of their own free will? Do you know anything suspicious? Were they acting weird? And there's just, and how their lives, because of this community that they're in, which is very small, it's very enclosed, because having a husband that's in the lighthouse, like that's a very unique experience. Like you're not gonna just go make friends with everyday people because they don't have that same experience. So these women were close, and then that bred secrets, of course, within its own. Like it's just interesting how I've said it before, like how entwined their lives are, and how it's, you know, it explores that concept of like you are with someone for 8 weeks at a time and you think you really know them, but then something happens and you're like, oh, you don't actually know them. Or you're married to someone for decades and then something happens and it makes you question everything, right? Like, I didn't know this about them. Like, what? I think I can finish it today if I sit down and read some today, which is obviously on the agenda. The other book, so Mostly Dead Things. I don't know how to talk about this book other than like the synopsis that I read in my TBR, right? Like, Jessa's family owns a taxidermy shop and they've owned it for a couple generations. Like it was her grandfather's and then her father's and then her father, now it's hers. She comes in one day and finds that her father has died by suicide and has like left her this note that says like, it's now your job to like take care of the family. Would you stop? He's in a mood. And so we are getting this perspective of this family going through grief. Their father is now dead. When the book opens, we have the scene of her walking in, and then there's a time jump, and it's been like a year since their dad has died. And she is struggling to make ends meet for this taxidermy shop, realizes that they're in a lot of debt. You know, work is slow. She just is going through the motions. Stop it. That's my lens cap. You're going to lose it. Washington. Oh my God. Cats, I swear. Aren't you supposed to be old? So she gets like stuck in the motions. Her brother has basically withdrawn and just like disappears for days at a time and then comes back. Her niece and nephew are struggling in their own ways. Her nephew just got out of rehab and is back in town, needs a job. Her niece is like 14 and young and vulnerable and is so much like her mother, who also is gone. She walked out years ago as well. Like she just up and left one day, abandoned them. And then her mother is going through some weird thing of like her method of processing all of this is to take the taxidermy animals and put them in sexually compromising positions and is exploring sexuality. And Jessa is like hitting a breaking point and she's struggling. And ultimately, yes, this is a story about family dynamics and grief. She was really close to her dad. So then when he died, she didn't know what to do with it. Like she didn't see it coming. She didn't know. She wasn't prepared. She wasn't expected. And he just left all of this on her shoulders. And for her, you know, she's put her dad up on this pedestal as being this great man. And now with her mom like acting out, and her mom is like, your dad was not who you thought he was. Like we just kind of got to this point where her mom is like, your dad was an asshole. Like, yes, he loved you and he loved us and he, you know, he took care of us. But at the end of the day, like he was a control freak and he was neurotic and an asshole and was, you know, he didn't want to talk about natural things and like sex and growing up and like what would happen, and was very like repressive. So all of this time, like their family like shuts down. They don't talk about stuff. They don't open up. If there's anything emotional, Jessa is like, nope, I can't deal with it. Because growing up, her dad was like, we don't do emotion. And that became ingrained in her. I'm not sure, like it's okay. I'm not necessarily having the best time. It's very literary. It's just a contemporary literary fiction and it explores topics of grief and family and relationships. There is an underlying story as well about Bren, who was her brother's wife, but also her lover. They were best friends growing up, and they had a toxic friendship, relationship, sexual dynamic. And from a young age, like Jessa was in love with Bren, but Bren was never really in love with her and wanted to be with everyone and was with other people and eventually marries Jessa's brother. And it's this complicated dynamic where they're married and having a family, but she still is coming to Jessa and sleeping with Jessa and getting something out of their relationship. Like, she got the best of both worlds, right? She has a brother and sister, and it's like fawning over her, and that is weird, to say the least. And Jessa kind of explores how she knew it was wrong and how her and her brother don't talk about it. And I'm pretty sure like he knew or had an idea, or because she definitely knew, like, but they don't talk about it. And it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, everyone knows though, because her, like, I just got to a point where her mom was like, what Bryn did to you and your brother was like bullshit, and we should have talked about it. So I'm like, yeah, so then everyone has to have known what was going on, that Bryn was like stringing them both along and trying to have just everything she wanted without any sort of conflict. I don't know. I have no idea where this is going to end. I have 25% of the left. I'm going to listen to that. So what am I doing today? I gotta put back that. I gotta repair my puzzle. I'm gonna finish listening to the audiobook of Mostly Dead Things. I need to meal prep a couple things. I have personal training today. Y'all, I haven't made it to any of these personal training sessions. Let me explain. So this is the one that's offered through my work. Every month you get 2 free sessions. You can either do 2 personal training sessions, you could do 2 dietitian sessions, or you could do a personal training and a dietitian, or just one. But every month you get 2. And it's like first come, first serve. They give you the schedule at the beginning of the month. You select a time, you sign up for it, right? I have successfully met with the dietitian. Phenomenal. I have not met with the personal trainer. And this is one of those things where I'm like, my brain is all over the place, right? I've been working out again for about a month, about 2 months, and I'm loving it. I feel good. Doing some cardio, doing some lifting, just trying to get back healthy, right? So that's through just like a gym membership. But then my work is also doing this other program, so I can meet with a personal trainer through them for free and a dietitian for free, which is great. And I giggle because it's like, if you've watched any of my sister-in-law's content, Rachel's Cozy Corner, she, on her like her goals video or whatever, she talks about how she wants to get back into like working out and being healthy and like explore other, like read more and like do other hobbies and like do her puzzles and like do her like crochet or knitting. And I'm like, I want to work out again. I want to read. I want to do puzzles. I want to cross stitch. We are so similar. I love her so much. Ugh, I need to text her just to say hi. Anyways, in January, supposed to have this meeting. I go, she's sick. So we missed that. Wasn't able to reschedule. February, I tried. Then my work schedule got mixed up, or Caden was sick, so then I couldn't mix it. Had to reschedule it like once or twice. Then supposed to go. I went to the wrong location. When I went here, my appointment was here, all the way across town. So by the time I would have gotten there, it would have been over. I missed it entirely. So that sucked. So I have one today. I know where it's at. I am not going to go to the wrong location. I'm not going here. I'm going here. I know that that's happening. That's in a couple hours. So I'm gonna go, finally. I'll tell you how it went. But the dietitian, I've had one dietitian appointment and I have another one scheduled at the end of the month, or I will. It's fine. That was really interesting for me because it's like I know certain things, right? But putting it into practice is hard. And she was helpful in that we kind of talked. She was like, you tell me. Like, I let my clients lead. So what are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And I was like, well, I guess I just kind of want information on like how to eat what I need to eat, or like, I don't know how to know what I need. Like, I don't know, I don't know numbers. I don't get what it means. And I'm not interested. I'm not going to calorie count. I'm not interested in like all of that. You know, I'm not going to cut carbs or anything crazy. Like, that feels too restrictive to me, and I'm not about to restrict what I can and can't eat, and I don't want to measure every single thing that I eat. That is just not gonna work for me. But I do think I'm missing something in my life. Like, I just need to be more balanced. And I love sweets. I don't want to give up sweets, but I do want to know, like, I don't want to feel guilty about eating sweets, right? And so we talked about that. We talked about, you know, the outdated food pyramid, and now it's more of like the My Plate thing where it's a photo of a plate and they've got it like color coded into sections, and this is how you should like form your plates and like portion sizes and like stuff like that, where like I've been told this in the past, but I've never learned how to make it make sense. And having her just kind of walk through this stuff, while it seemed really basic, really helped me. I was like, you know, I am a mom. My son is growing. He is very active. He's very tiny, like he's very skinny. I want to make sure that I'm also making meals that is nutritious and well balanced for all of us, and make sure that he's getting what he needs. Like, I just think he needs a little bit more weight on him because he is so active. So we kind of talked about that, of like upping protein, upping fiber, just things like that, where, and she's like, you know, I hear this a lot from especially my female clients that are moms, where they're so conscious of their family and what they're doing for their family, but not about themselves. And I was like, yeah, like I really want to make sure my husband and my son are like well fed and nourished, but then when it's like, if I'm left to my own devices and whatever, girl dinner all the way, right? Like, I'll eat a cheese stick and call it good, like grab a handful of some peanut butter filled pretzels and go on my way. And it's changing our perspectives around food and like self-worth. Like, it all gets tied in together, right? Where I'm so focused, like, if your son was hungry and wanted a snack, would you let him eat what you just fed yourself? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't, because I want him to have a well-balanced, rounded meal. And it's like, well, shit. It's like, it's so basic, but you need to just, sometimes you just need to hear someone else say it, right? Where I was just like, no, I wouldn't. I would not let my kid drink a cup of coffee and call that breakfast and go about the day. Like, absolutely not. Then we talked about, because I'm lifting, that, you know, she wants me to kind of be aware of she does want me to kind of be aware of my protein intake. I don't think I'm getting enough protein, and she agreed. So like, trying to up my protein, and like, I think fiber in general, America as a whole has shitty fiber intake. Haha, no pun intended, but like, fiber helps you shit. Let's work on, just kind of focus on that. So then we talked about like, just an easy goal of like, aim for like 100 to 120 grams of protein a day. So if that's the only thing you're looking at, cool. And then she gave me a list of like healthy like protein snacks, of like a mix of store-bought stuff and like things you can make. So that's fun. That was nice. Yeah, and I think I'm meeting with her again because I want to talk more about like protein, but now I want to talk about fiber. And I know I also struggle with getting enough like fruit in my diet. Like, I get plenty of vegetables, but I don't eat a lot of fruit. I want to talk to her about that, but just like, what about fruit? What can I do with fruit? Because I don't know. I know there's fiber in fruit and like natural sugars and stuff that are good. There's that. I should stop talking to myself and get to work. Come here, you little ragamuffin. No, you come here. Come here, troublemaker. Get off the puzzle. Come say hello. Look at the demon. The demon himself. Are you done being a terror? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're not getting on top of the fridge. You say hello? You say, mwah. All right. I love you, old man. Quit being a turd. Okay, I actually gotta do shit now. I'll check in soon. I am back from personal training, and I think it went really well. She and I went over my goals, like what I'm interested in, what I like, what I don't like. I was like, I like to lift, getting back into things. I'm not necessarily trying to lose weight or like be skinny or anything like that. I just want to be healthy and strong and keep up with K-Dog, because he is wild. You've seen it a little bit. We went over different workouts and stuff, and she gave me workouts that she wants me to try and like get used to and get good with, and then schedule with her again in like next month. So we're gonna go over it again, go over some more stuff. What else? I finished a book. That's what you care about, right? Not my fitness journey. But I have finished Mostly Dead Things, and we are now at a little over 10 hours left. So feeling pretty good. I'm gonna end up physically reading for a little while today. I'm hoping to finish The Lamplighters. That's at least another hour. But I finished Mostly Dead Things. I'm giving it a 2.5. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was kind of weird. Nothing really happens. It's just a family dynamic, right? It's just this family dealing with grief and anger and learning that they have to like talk to each other. And then the ending is, to me, is just kind of abrupt, where I saw that the timer was getting close and I was like, surely this can't be where it ends. And that's where it ends. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's fine. So 2.5. When I sat down to rate it, I was like, it's a 3. And then I was like, not really, because like I'm ambivalent towards it, right? I don't hate it, but I don't like it and I don't love it. So that's why I'm like, meh. Like, if I give something a 3, I at least liked it. This I am very much just ambivalent toward. I don't really care. And I know that I'm not going to recommend this to people. So it's a 2.5 because I just don't care. And that's that. I gotta hop in the shower. The boys will be here soon. My husband's getting our son. And then we've got sports practice tonight. So I gotta shower and get myself cleaned up. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. It is Thursday morning. I don't have a lot of time because I have to go to work, but I finished The Lamplighters last night. I'm giving it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I like it. I think I will be recommending this. I can definitely see that me recommending this to like my mother-in-law, my aunt, potentially my sister. It's a solid locked room mystery. And I have enjoyed several of those in the past. I think the atmosphere of being on a lighthouse really adds to that. Everyone has their own like dirty secret. And of course, nothing is as it seems. At the core, you know, it's a story of grief and of loss. And also, I think, secrets and obsessions and what harm secrets can do. 4 stars. And that puts us at 8.5 hours left. We'll see if I can do that today. I don't know. This might bleed into Friday. And if that's the case, that's the case. This is not ending until this ends. So maybe to Friday. But today is technically, thank you, Kennedy, the last day. I have an audiobook lined up for work. And then I have to pick a book to read that I will read during sports practice. So that's at least an hour of reading. You know what? At least I know I can get a decent chunk of time in today. So I am recording in my car. I am at Caden's school. He is at a practice right now. And it's just me. My husband and I have been taking him to this, but my husband has his own like sporting thing tonight. So it's just me doing the kiddo duty right now, and that's fine. It's just there are other parents sitting in their cars, and it's gonna get stuffy in my car here soon because it's like 70 degrees outside and nice, and I have all the windows rolled up because I'm nervous, okay? But I just wanted to check in. I started the naming song at work. This is the naming song by Jedediah Barry. I am reading this because it is for a Magical Stitches prompt that is to read a book that has been blurbed by your favorite author or a favorite author. She's right here on the cover. One of my favorite authors is Holly Black. She wrote all of the books that we read last year for Magical Stitches. I have read basically all of her things. She's so important on this book. She got a front and a back blurb. So that's what I'm reading. I found this through fantasticfiction.com. I highly recommend that just to like look around anyway, see what you can see. It has like all the authors, and it'll have all of their books, so you can type in any author, see what they've written, if they have any upcoming titles, and then things that they recommend, so stuff that they've blurbed or whatever. So that was how I found this. This just came out like in the fall of 2024, so it is still fairly new. It is a science fiction book, and we are following a courier. She lives on a train, and basically we are in like a weird, I don't want to say future, but we're in a weird world where something happened, and they refer to it as when something fell from the something tree, and basically the world as we know it was destroyed. And all words were lost and language was lost, and so people have rebuilt their lives. There are committees now that are in charge of discovering the words for things and for naming things. And as a courier, it is her job to go to the towns and villages whenever someone has discovered a new word. A diviner finds a new word, and then her job as part of like the naming committee is that she then travels throughout and delivers these words by like displaying them. Like she shows people what the word is, and then she'll say it for the first time. And then after that, everyone can then use this word. It's very interesting, like how it happens. She herself, though, does not have a name. And that's kind of a big thing. Like anything that has a name is like considered safe. The like nameless or the unnamed are like bad guys, and they attack the named people. And then there's monsters, and monsters are real, and your dreams, and when you sleep, when you dream, your like dream fragments can become like monsters. They can become like sentient and take form and substance. So if you like our main character has like nightmares and really heavy dreams, so she'll wake up regularly with like dream fragments, and they're called like drafts. So she has little pieces of her dreams that have like attached onto dust or scrap paper or whatever, and they're trying to like create themselves. But if you don't get rid of it, it'll become a monster, or has the potential to become a monster. But they could also refine it and use it to make other things. Like it's the world building in this is crazy. I had to like rewind a few times because I was like, wait, what just happened? And like, so people have like items for names because to them that's a name. So like one of our characters, his name is Book, and another person's name is Rope. So it's, or Smoke or Stone, Frost, like names that are stuff, but to them that's just their name. That's the name. But they don't have words. So they've talked about how they came up with the word for whiskey, or people have sent in requests for this thing to be named. One of them was, a game that children play when a group of them hides from the other. So which we know, of course, that's called hide and seek, but we know that that's its name, right? Like it's crazy that like, it's very interesting. This concept is very fascinating. But we are following our unnamed girl, and we're getting snippets of her past mixed, like kind of like what happened to get her to this point. And now she has been given essentially like a secret task by kind of like a president guy. Like he's like the head of stuff, like a disciplinary committee. He thinks that so they all live on this train. He thinks that there's someone on board the train that is basically feeding information to the nameless. The nameless are this like group of people or creatures, a combination of both, and they like wage war on the named. So he thinks that there's someone on board this train that is feeding information to the nameless, who are then turning around and attacking them. And they've had a few attacks that have happened where they've stopped at a train station and then they've been like ambushed and have like lost people. So they think someone is behind that, and they want her to find this person and like use a new word on them to describe what they are. So basically they can give her a word, but the word doesn't exist until the naming person says it out loud for the very first time. So like they write it down on a card and then give it to her, and then like she has to then make it happen, make it come into existence by a demonstration. So they've slid her a word. We don't know what the word is, but they've told her to like discover the individual that is committing a crime and use this word on them. I think the word is traitor because that makes sense to me. Like they're doing traitorous things. So that's happening there. And that has put me at 5 hours and 48 minutes left. So we are still chugging along. I am not going to finish this tonight. That's okay. But what I am going to do is finish this up because I'm starting to get hot in here. Got my Kindle, and I am going to start Some Other Time by Angela Brown. I'm going to start this. This is Some Other Time. This is a time travel-ish story. This woman and her husband are like planning on getting a divorce, but when they try and tell their family, like her family, they don't accept it. And then I guess she wakes up one night, and then when she goes to bed, and when she wakes up the next day, she and her husband are strangers, and she's in like an alternate universe where she and her husband didn't get married, and I guess over the course of like a week they potentially could fall in love again. Or she gets to live her life as if she and her husband had never met, so she gets to see what life would be like without him. I'm sure they'll end up back together in the end, but it seems some time travel, second chance potentially, learn what you need to learn, Midnight Library vibes. I'm gonna start this. I have to do my hair and go to work, but I just wanted to do a quick update about last night after sports. We came home from sports. Also, look at my really cute overalls. My husband bought them for me because of course he did. I got 79 pages into Some Other Time by Angela Brown, which puts me at surprisingly like 27%. So like I'm already a quarter of the way through this book. And so far all we've done is basically have some sad girl lit fic. Ellie and Jonah are on the verge of a divorce. The book opens with them. They are going to visit Ellie's parents in Florida, and they've gathered their daughter, who is now away in college. They all fly down to Florida, and over like their first night to like hang out for the weekend, they tell her family that they're getting a divorce. And we're kind of getting some back and forth between like the lead up to this, right? Like why, but we don't actually have like why they're getting a divorce, other than it's a bunch of Ellie going, I don't know what I want, I don't know what I want. She's dealing with the fact that her daughter is now going away and is away to college, like left home, left the state, completely went away for college. She was a stay-at-home mom this entire time, and so now she has like no sense of purpose. She doesn't know who she is or like what to do. Versus like her husband has worked, he was encouraging of their daughter to like leave home, go away. She didn't want their daughter to leave home and go away. And so we're getting this snippet of where like Ellie feels stuck. I feel like I keep coming back to that with characters. Like she feels like this is all she's known, and now everything is changing and the rug is being pulled out from her. And she and her husband are fighting a lot because their daughter's gone, and they're just getting into petty arguments. And it really, to me, just sounds like Ellie's a control freak, because it's like, I get it, and I'm also annoyed. Like, she chose to be a stay-at-home mom. The consequence of that, of course, natural consequence, your kid grows up. They become their own person with their own wants and desires and wishes. And so her daughter wants to leave. Her daughter wants to go away and start her own life and not be her mother. And Ellie is like struggling with that. Like Ellie just thought she would choose the local college and like stay home or stay nearby and not go away, and like she would just continue to like take care of their daughter, and that's obviously not what their daughter wants, and she's like refusing to let go of that. Versus it seems like her husband Jonah he's accepted that Maggie, their daughter, is a grown-up now, like in the sense that she's 18. You know, she can legally make her own decisions. So if she wants to go away and study whatever she wants and become a vegetarian, and like I also don't like that like trope and stereotype that like the young teenage daughter who gets away from her parents suddenly becomes this like incredibly over-the-top eco-conscious vegan and is all like, we have to save the planets. Like, I don't like that stereotype. I think that's damaging to young women and young teens in general that go away and maybe they do find that life path fits for them. Like, whatever. Jonah is like, he's calm and he's quiet and he's supportive and like he just is like doing his best, and it doesn't seem like, I'm not getting that he's been an antagonist. I've only gotten that she's been the antagonist this whole time. That Ellie is the reason why they've been arguing and fighting, because again, she can't let go of this control. Her daughter has naturally chosen her husband to be the one she talks to, the one that she confides in, because he is supportive and understanding and her mother is not. So it's really, Ellie's mad at herself. I don't think she's mad at her husband. I think she's mad that she's put herself in this box and she doesn't know how to let go. And she's taking it out on her husband, so she's the one that's like, I think we should get divorced. But like, I don't think he wants to get divorced. I really don't. There's nothing from him. He's just been like, it's what you want. Like, it's what you said we should do. It's what we've agreed is now the best. Like, he's going along with it because he feels like he doesn't have a choice in the matter. Based off the synopsis, she's supposed to wake up and, like, be in a different timeline. But we are a quarter of the way through the book, and that has not happened yet. I'm, like, 27% of the way. Almost a third of the way through the book, and that still has not happened. What has happened is they've told her parents, and now they're about to get back on their flights and head back to, like, New Jersey or whatever. And it's annoying. I'm so sick of hearing Ellie say over and over, I don't know what I want. Are we doing the right thing? I don't know what I want. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm lonely. I don't know what to do. I feel like my life is over and maybe I just need to start over on my own and I need to be alone to figure myself out. And it's like, okay, I get it. Can we move the story past this point? You're a control freak and I'm over it. It's just been a bunch of repetitive, and she's asked constantly to Jonah multiple times now, what if we'd never met? What if we'd never met? What if we'd never met? What if we had made completely different choices? What if we'd ended up in completely different lives? So it's like, it's setting up the premise, right? But it's like, okay, it's in your face. I'm so done. Let's move into it then. If this is where we're going, let's just do it. Quit giving it on a platter to me and then taking it away. Like, let's just go. But I read that for about an hour and a half yesterday. So we're at a little less than 4.5 hours left of this 24-hour reading challenge. And I think I can finish it today. I have to go to work. I'm going to listen to my audiobook and the naming song some more. And then depending on how much I get done, I'll come home and I'll read tonight. We are supposed to get some pretty nasty storms tonight. We are a little nervous. The weather is fantastic right now. We're going to have to kind of like get some stuff in, you know, pull the couch cushions in after, because we're supposed to get like 80 miles per hour wind, possibly tornadoes. So it might be a bit of a long night. So I'm going to make sure all of our devices are charged and read my way through this storm. I was going to try and film earlier this morning, but that went off the rails real quick. So I am currently at a gas station in Illinois. I just dropped Caden off with his grandparents for the week. It is about to be his spring break, so he gets to go hang out with his grandparents for a week. He's very excited. We're excited. It's always a little bittersweet, you know, because I know he's going to have so much fun, but it's also the like, okay, bye to my baby for a week. It's fine. I now have about a 3-hour drive home because we always meet about halfway. I still have about 15 minutes left on my timer. But I'm going to end this TBR tackle here. I will not finish another book before the timer runs out. I read for like a little over 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours last night, Some Other Time by Angela Brown. I've only got like an hour left in the book, but obviously I'm not going to read that while I'm driving. The other option which I'm going to do, I think, is listen to my audiobook, The Naming Song. I'm still not that I ended up really not listening to it that much at work. I got caught up, we had a busy day, we had stuff we had to do, so I'm really not that much further on in it. And obviously like 15 minutes more is not going to give me much to deal with. I'm not really any further on than when I last checked in. So that's all I have there. I will count this as a success. I read 4 books in a quote-unquote 24-hour time period. I think that's pretty good. If I'm wrong, I'll pop it up on screen what my actual count was, but I'm currently driving. So I'm going to end this here, in this vlog, in this video clip, so I can start driving, so I can get home and start hanging out with my husband. So I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks for this weird experiment. I don't know. I gotta go. Be easy with your hearts.